Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here because you're listening to Knockouts and Three Counts. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
This is Don West here, and I'm telling you, Knockouts and Three Counts is the podcast, baby. Make sure that's the one you check out, because, buddy, like me, they're the real deal, baby.
This is Jake the Snake Roberts. Just letting you know, you need to listen to Knockouts and Three Counts, or you see that damn snake again.
This is the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy. And you're listening to Knockouts and Three Counts.
What up, dog buddy? This is Kyle, and you are back watching Knockouts and Three Counts. And yeah, we're back here to take it a little bit old school and just shoot the shit on what's going on in the world of pro wrestling and MMA. And Corey is here with me once again. Corey, why don't you go ahead and throw your social media out for me real quick?
As always, only Twitter. Fight fan from the 313. Let's get it.
And making his debut to the show, we've got Chris James. How you doing, brother, man?
Yo, I'm excited to be here, man. Just add me on Facebook, Chris James or James Christopher. I'll operate on both accounts, so just add me. I'm just excited to be here.
All right. So, like I said, man, we're taking a little bit old school here today. We're going to be talking about all the things that are going on in the world of pro wrestling and MMA. For those of you that have been following the show for a long time, you know that the show's inception, we just gave you our thoughts on what we thought, you know, about what was going on in the world of pro wrestling and MMA. And, you know, as things evolved, yeah, there came the interviews as well. So I figured we'd take it a little bit old school today. So, Chris, as you know, we've got Clash of Champions is coming up this Sunday. Tell me what your thoughts are on what we're seeing from all the different shows in WWE right now during the pandemic.
I'm loving the Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns thing. First of all, that's one of the big major things I'm loving. I wasn't big on Roman Reigns, like, you know, I was one of the people that was booing every time I seen Roman Reigns, wanted them to do a heel turn. So when he came back at SummerSlam, I was just like, man, I couldn't even hate on it. I just had to cheer for it and everything. So I'm looking forward to him and Jey Uso. I like it how Roman treating him like a little brother. Like, okay, you might be, you know, you got this opportunity, but don't forget, man, you still the little cousin, you still the little brother and everything like that. And then a fun fact for y'all. Jey Uso is the first person to ever pin Roman Reigns since Roman Reigns hit the main roster. If you guys forgot about that, it was the Shield.
Say that again?
Jey Uso was the first person to ever pin Roman Reigns since Roman Reigns hit the main roster as well. So
that's a hell of a fact, man. And I didn't even think about that. Plus, I mean, this is his first world title shot, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. If I'm not mistaken, it should. If I'm not mistaken, it is. So. Like they doing everything because, in my opinion, not even SmackDown or Raw, just the whole WWE tag division is depleted. So they doing what they can with people like Big E. You know, they got Big E doing his own single thing and Jey Uso doing his own single thing now because, you know, Kofi and Xavier was injured, and I don't know what's going on with Jimmy. He could either be injured or battling a little DUI stuff. So it's just like, you don't know what's going on with Jimmy. So I kind of like what WWE doing with guarding their tag teams, like not having them just flounder, even though the other tag team partners are just sitting on the sidelines. I kind of like what they're doing. I wish they would do something more regarding tag team division as to make some little makeshift tag teams. Because I kind of seen on Instagram, they kind of did that with Dominic and Humberto. And they actually had a match this past Raw, if I'm not mistaken, in a little triple threat. So I'm looking forward to see what they're gonna do with the tag division because I feel like that's depleted as well. So yeah.
All right. So I took some notes ahead of time to kind of some things that stuck out to me. Okay, so the first thing here is anybody that's been watching wrestling for a little bit knows Retribution, right? So Retribution, clearly at this point, they're starting to let you know who the fuck is in Retribution. I don't know that I necessarily agree with the picks. I mean, from the ones that we can tell, clearly Dijak has tried to, channel his inner hawk. And then you've got Mia Yim with a mask over her face. And then I don't know if you've picked out anybody else out of there. I think I saw Lacey Lane and Casey Catanzaro in there too.
So I think all the 5 members that was in Retribution was Donovan Dijakovic, Dio Madden, Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, and Shane Thorne. That's what I think the 5 members of Retribution are.
All right. So what do you think about the group, though? Do you think that this group has any chance to actually last, or do you think this is another one of those things?
After this past Monday, I don't know what the heck is gonna go with it, because
right.
it was.
But hold on. Let me finish though. So do you think? My question is though, do you think that they're a group that they kind of threw together out of something they didn't, are they a group that was thrown together purely so that, they had something for all those guys to do? Or do you think this is going to be something that'll last long term? Or do you think it'll just shit out?
Man, I kind of think it's a little bit of both. I think they just spitballing at the board, just like, what are we gonna do? I kind of think it's a little bit of both. I kind of think they kind of had an idea what they wanted to do with Retribution, but then they just start doing their own little thing, because like it kind of started out, in my opinion, it started as a good idea, but it just kind of got horrible over the weeks. And then this past Monday, after I heard the little nicknames and everything, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. So I think it's just a little bit of both. I think they had an idea, but they just like whatever.
So, I mean, if you were going to pick a leader, right? So if you were going to pick a leader, I can't say that Dijak would be a bad choice. But at the same time, it's like, in a way, I feel like this is like a Nexus ripoff in a way. Like, I kind of feel like they put them together. They're supposed to be this big group that's gonna tear apart WWE. Well, the problem is that group had no, like, they still haven't really given a reason to why they were brought around, right?
Right.
That's my thing. Like they
was trying to give an explanation yesterday. They was trying to give an explanation yesterday, but it just wasn't. It wasn't. They
haven't given a concrete enough an answer to really be able to be like, okay, this is what they're doing. And here's the thing: if Dijak is going to be the leader, okay, it's not like Dijak was like a bottom tier guy in NXT though. We're talking about a guy who went for the North American title, NXT title, tag team title. It's not, for a guy to be playing they're not giving you your chance role, which is essentially what Retribution's playing off of. Mm-hmm. How can you say you didn't get a chance, dog? You went for all the titles on your brand.
Right. Yeah. And then I'm not even going to hold you up, Kyle. I don't even think Dijak is going to be the leader. I think, or at least the vocal leader. I think the vocal leader at least is going to be Mia Yim.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I could see that, but I mean, how does that work though? Because then WWE is
I'm hoping. I was about to say, I'm hoping, like, they attacked Keith Lee a couple times. So the last time we seen Keith Lee and Mia Yim on NXT, they kind of actually alluded to them being in a relationship. So I feel like if they were smart enough, they could kind of like, put something together between them and kind of have Keith Lee.
So do you think Keith is going to be the secret leader? Is that what you're getting at here?
I don't know. I'm not like, I'm at this point. I'm like, I feel like what I alluded to earlier when I said they just spitballing stuff. I'm just spitballing stuff at this point, because like none of them is making sense at this point, because at first it was kind of making sense, but now after yesterday, it's not making no kind of sense at all to me. So I was just kind of spitballing, trying to make some sense out of it, really.
Okay, so we talked about Retribution. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about who's been their opposition in the Hurt Business. First of all, what are your thoughts on Cedric Alexander joining the Hurt Business? And can we both agree that, can WWE please get this guy a new fucking theme song? Like, you turned him heel, you put him in the Hurt Business, right?
Thought, like, especially after he joined the Hurt Business, he would have had a better theme song, and
he's got MVP with him. MVP can rap. Why is MVP not making him a song?
I'm hoping that it's gonna come, especially since Roman Reigns, he's gonna have his new music and his new look. this Clash of Champions. So I'm hoping that the same could be for Cedric Alexander in this upcoming weeks, because for sure it should be. Speaking about that, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they have Cedric Alexander lose last night when they could have had Shelton Benjamin take that pinfall, especially since Cedric Alexander just recently joined? Like, what was the point of having Cedric Alexander lose yesterday when you had Shelton Benjamin? They could have had him just take the pinfall.
Well, right. And they're making this big deal about how he's now that he's in the hurt business, he ain't losing no more. And he's not nobody's stepping stone. And then what do? You bring him out and he loses.
So,
even have him basically come out there and say, fuck them kids, and then he loses.
Like, exactly, man. I'm not gonna doubt it, but I'm gonna still be hopeful. But yeah, it's just not looking good so far either. Like I said regarding that, so I'm like, and then to be honest, I still think they're gonna add another member to the Hurt Business, either Apollo or Ricochet. But I'm assuming Apollo, or I thought that was gonna be the first person that joined, not Cedric Alexander. So yeah.
All right.
Hurt Business.
So we kind of got to see what's going to happen with that. Corey, I'm not trying to leave you hanging and all that stuff. Now that you've been getting to do all these wrestling interviews and things like that, man, I mean, I know you've been, hearing a little bit more about this. So, I mean, with the interviews that we've done with like Miranda Gordy and all these kind of things, man, I mean, for someone who was out of wrestling for so long, I mean, where are you at now? Because this has got to be wrestling overload for you.
That's the best way I could possibly describe it, is wrestling overload. I feel like my world is getting taken over by wrestling. But no, in all seriousness, like I've had conversations with you, after the shows and in between shit, just playing on the Xbox even. I don't necessarily enjoy what's put on in the ring. I more so enjoy what they do as a character, and I can play along with some of the stories and stuff like that. But as I've gotten older, and especially because I'm so balls deep in UFC, it's kind of hard to see the real version and then still follow the wrestling version. Like you were saying, the storylines, man, like, they just don't compete with what they used to. I mean, I know you've tried to get me back into wrestling quite a few times, and I was the first couple times. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty objective to it. But then, since we've been getting further into it, I mean, it's interesting. Like I said, I more prefer like the characters, the character driven side of it more so than what actually goes on inside the ring.
I hear that. Well, Chris, obviously we can't talk about what's going on in pro wrestling right now without talking about one of the things that I would say would be one of the light spots for WWE, and that would be what we've seen so far with Dominic Mysterio. Okay, a lot of people have tried to shit on it, but I gotta say, for a kid who's never been on the big stage, the kid's delivered. Okay, his tag match that he had, Corey Free. So you don't know because obviously you didn't watch it, but for those of you who didn't get to catch Raw, yeah, there was a triple threat tag match. It was Dominic Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo against Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, and then their third opponent was Andrade and Angel Garza. Okay, so for starters, before we even get into this match, Chris, when is Buddy Murphy going to finally say, I had enough of you beating the shit out of me, bro, and tell Seth Rollins to kick rocks?
Man, I don't know. Something might happen this on at Clash of Champions, or I think before, because I don't know. I think if I'm not mistaken, is Survivor Series before. I mean, right after Clash of Champions. I think
Survivor Series will be in November. So yeah.
So I think it's either going to be before Survivor Series or a little bit after. So it's for sure leading up to it. Like they alluded to it this past week with Alea, Mysterio, and Buddy Murphy. What they did that last week and then this week. So they kind of alluded to that. So I'm it's slowly burning, and I'm looking forward to that Seth Rollins and Murphy match for sure. Because if I'm not mistaken, I remember Roman
That's gonna
Reigns
be a hell of a
Murphy
match, bro.
I remember Roman Reigns and Murphy match on SmackDown for free TV. That was a pay-per-view match. So in my opinion, I feel like shoot, you remember Dominic first match against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins made Dominic look good. So I mean, Murphy already delivers. So Seth Rollins and Murphy, they gonna tear the house down. But I'm liking how and at first I thought it was gonna, I thought, because Austin Theory back on NXT. So at first I thought it was gonna be
before, just to digress, for those of you who don't know, check out that link right there in the corner, past guests of the show. But that being said, thank God they put Austin Theory back on.
Yeah, I feel like that was a good move. But
yes, because dude, he didn't. I felt like he never fit with Seth. I feel like they just kind of threw it there just because.
Because like I feel like they had a good idea with the Messiah thing. They just wanted to have him like a whole bunch of followers, or kind of a la how Bray Wyatt had his little followers. I kind of feel like they kind of wanted to have it like that, but in a different way. But it kind of didn't work out. So now, like, Seth Rollins is just pretty much a false prophet. So I thought it was gonna lead to Dominic turning on Ray and him joining Seth Rollins, but
really,
I just think, I thought it, or at least that's what I kind of hope for. But I'm just thinking, it's just stuff as false prophet. He gonna lose, or he got his wins, he got his losses out the Mysterio feud. They both look good, both parties look good, and now it's gonna lead up to him and Murphy, which in the end he probably gonna end up being the winner of the feud, but Murphy might win the war, as in he gonna get over in that feud between him and Seth Rollins. So I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, when is it going to happen? If it's not going to happen at Clash of Champions, it's going to happen, in my opinion, the weeks before Survivor Series or after.
I mean, dude, like, I gotta say, when they came out, Corey, I know you might remember this one. Okay, so I don't know if you'll remember the storyline, but do you remember watching back in the day when they did the storyline between Ray versus Eddie, and they were trying to say Eddie might be Dominic's father?
No, I do not.
Okay, so basically back in 2005, bro, there was a whole thing between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero said that he was the father of Rey Mysterio, but because of his drug problems, he wanted Rey to be the father so that Rey could be, a more stable father figure, right? And then he came back and they had a whole ladder match about it. Well, last night they started picking on that, which for me, I gotta be honest with you, bro. Off rip, I was like, oh shit, this is what we're going back to? Like, we're really gonna rehash the whole thing from 2005?
Especially with the dead guy. I mean, that kind of makes it weird, right?
Well, yeah. Right. And so here's the thing. And so I like that they tried to turn it and say, what if Aaliyah was the one that wasn't his kid? But like, I don't know. I feel like if you were going to go that route, you should have just went the love triangle route and just that should have been it.
Man, then look, I was 12 when the Eddie and Rey Mysterio thing happened, and I was just like, I didn't even like that back then. So, I mean, a lot of people probably look back
dope,
on it.
Bro, the original one was dope.
I don't think I wasn't that too fond of it back then when it first happened. I think a lot of people probably like it now for sure because Eddie passed and we all love Eddie. So I think a lot of people love it more because of that. But I wasn't really that fond of it at 12 years old, to be honest, bro. When I first saw it, I'm like, what the heck? What the heck is they doing? Because like I already knew Dominic was an Eddie kid for sure. I'm just like, what the heck are they doing? So I wasn't that fond of it, to be honest. So
how do you think Dominic's done in the ring though?
I'm loving Dominic. Like you said, I'm upset that people kind of try to shit on him or everything, or just saying, no, he taking opportunities away from other people. I mean, it's somebody new, and then like I said, everybody always, everybody always wants something new and want people new, and then when they give it to you, they got to find some way to complain. Dominic doing good in my opinion. I mean, he's still green, of course, but shoot, man, he's doing a hell of a job. He's like 19 years old. I mean,
right.
Yeah, like he moved, like the way he's moving, because he's like, I don't know, I guess because I'm just comparing him to his father, but he, in my opinion, he probably like 6'2", 6'3" or something like that.
He's easy 6'2", bro.
So like the way he's moving too, well, it's just like, man, just for his like the
Corey,
body
he's doing the full on 619 like Rey Mysterio at 6'2".
That's what I was gonna add. That was my question. Is he basically busting a move like his dad used to?
He does his own shit. Like he throws in a couple moves that are like Ray's. Like obviously there's like some Hurricane Rana
Is
stuff.
he a high, would you consider his style like a high flyer?
Sure,
Yeah.
but definitely more ground game in it though than Ray's though because he's bigger.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean
he's a lot bigger. So there's definitely that high flying element, but it's not like
they save it for kind of
get you with the high flying technical.
It's that money shot at the end is what you're trying to say.
Perfect way to put it. Use it only when you need to. Like I said, I've thought they've done well with it, and I have to say I'll give credit where it's due. I think some of the things that they were hitting on with Seth, sometimes went a little too far, but I mean, I feel like they've turned the Monday Night Messiah thing into something that's, been done well. All right. Well, we talked our ears off about Raw. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get off of that without talking about Raw Underground. Okay. You had Braun Strowman versus Dabba-Kato. Okay. That's Corey. So you don't know, but Babatunde was what he used to be called. And we're talking a big Sasquatch son of a bitch. And when we're talking about Braun Strowman, we're talking about a big Sasquatch son of a bitch. So you got two big dudes just beating the hell out of each other, bro. And they're basically what they're doing is it's supposed to be like a Fight Club type thing. That's why it's called Raw Underground. I think it kind of harkens back to past guests of the show, PCO. Check that out in that right corner. He was part of the original concept for this with Brawl for All. And WWE figured out in a nutshell that it's not a good idea to put a bunch of tough guys in there in a real fight because the guys you think are going to win might not come out the winner. So Corey, I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna let you do a little research. I'll turn on Dark Side of the Ring the next time we're together because, yeah, man, you got to learn why people are comparing the two. But what have you thought about Raw Underground so far, Chris?
I hate it, bro. Like I don't like it that much. That like I just turn my just turn the channel when it comes on. Like that's like my bathroom break. So, like, to be honest, I'm not that big on Raw Underground. I like the idea of it, and I'm kind of glad they trying to be different, but it's not my speed, to be honest. If that's the case, then you might as well have them do with some amateur or amateur type of things. Like, you know how the YouTubers like Jake Paul do the little boxing stuff, they might as well do that type of thing.
You're calling him amateur. Floyd Mayweather might come out of retirement to fight one of the Paul brothers, bro.
I wanted to bring that up on this episode. Damn it.
We'll talk plenty about that.
Well, no, while it's up real quick, let's get your initial thoughts on it when you heard
what do you think about Floyd coming out of retirement to fight against one of the YouTube guys, Chris?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Floyd did that because especially if it got some big money in it. But other than that, Floyd, just let it go, bro.
All right, Corey, what do you think?
I think it's a hell of a money grab, but yet I still want to see it. So I guess I'm the one pitching the money into it, or at least finding the link so I don't have to.
The only way I see Floyd doing it if it's I can't even say $1 million, man. It got man.
$1 million, bro. You better come up off of about 99 more of them, boys.
man, it's ridiculous, dude.
But I think about how big of a following he's got. I mean, I was hearing numbers just off his merch line alone that he was pulling in a couple million in merch. So if you're talking about that, I mean, people are going to pay to see a fight like that. I mean, sideshow like or not,
Paul or like a Jake Paul or something like that. Like one of the Paul brothers and Floyd Mayweather, just like a little YouTube boxing thing. That's gonna get hella views. You gotta have big money for sure, but if they actually agree to it, man, shoot. If I'm not mistaken, since we talking about like celebrity boxing thing, I remember Floyd Mayweather was about to help Chris Brown, like he was endorsing Chris Brown or Soulja Boy when they were about to box, and that never fell through. But like I don't think Floyd is opposed to that kind of thing. Shoot, he was in the WWE, so I don't think he's opposed to that kind of stuff.
No,
so, I'll be looking for it, but I just know if Floyd's going to accept it, it's going to be big money involved.
What you think,
You know,
Kyle?
it can't not be. I mean, dude, anything Floyd does is going to be a huge money fight. At this point, I'm not mad at you for trying to get the money, man, but like in a way, like, how do I say this to where it makes sense, right? In a way, like, I get you're trying to get the money, but like, all I can think about is what if he comes out and does this shit, and eventually one of these times these guys catches him, then what?
Man, that's my
He
only
walks
thing
away
too.
with the bag, bro. He walks away with all this money, and I think. All right, so hear me out here. I think this is the best case scenario for somebody like Floyd, just because he doesn't want to be competitive, he doesn't want to hold belts, he doesn't want to be the real Floyd like he used to be. He wants to be a retired boxer that still gets paid pretty handsomely to go out there and fight some YouTubers and, people like that, because he knows the bag's still out there, but he doesn't want to leave the money on the table because it's so easily available, but yet he doesn't want to be as deep in his boxing career as he once was. So I think this is kind of best case scenario for him. I mean, realistically.
Look, it's interesting if nothing else, right? Like, if nothing else, it gives you something to talk about in the fight game, and something that I wouldn't have expected. Had you said, was he going to go fight one of the YouTube kids? I would have said, hell no, he won't go fight the YouTube kids. But now it's like, well, it is what it is. Yep. So, all right, Chris. So we talked about Raw. We talked about Floyd. Let's talk about the last little bit as it pertains to WWE. NXT is really trying to have to rebrand themselves with Keith Lee coming up to the main roster now. You got Karrion Kross, who I think was going to be their next guy, getting hurt now. They're really having to rebuild things. And obviously, if, like we said, with the stuff with Retribution, Dijak, Mia Yim, all those guys presumably are going to be on Raw now, Raw or SmackDown. So you're losing another good chunk of your NXT roster. Mm-hmm. What do you think where we currently sit on the NXT AEW saga and the war between them, and who do you think is currently winning right now?
I guess if, as much as I do not want to say it, I'm gonna say AEW probably winning the war right now, just because, like you said, NXT is trying to rebrand itself, and like, I think NXT, in my opinion, I think the best thing that's going for NXT is their women's division. I think they have the best. Like, I'm not paying attention to like the stuff in Japan, to be honest. So like, I don't know regarding women's division, if Stardom and new, like, so I don't know how the women's division is and everything, or just they whole brand. So like, just regarding America, I think NXT women's division has the best women's division in wrestling, in my opinion, and AEW has the worst women's division. But I think NXT is trying to focus on one thing. I think they need to focus on is rebuilding their tag division as well, which I kind of think they kind of hit it on last week. I mean, with Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. I don't know. I think they're gonna probably try to make Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong the main go-to tag team with Undisputed Era. Yeah, and it's just NXT is just
so
going through that little transition.
Riley's going to be out of UE.
I don't think so. I'm hoping not. I just know I think his single run is coming because
don't get it
like the last few weeks, he's been alluding to it. But this COVID thing has kind of messed up NXT a lot, because Finn Balor actually was going to be fighting Walter. Like, he was going to be feuding with Walter before the COVID thing hit. He's going to be feuding with Walter. And then, if I'm not mistaken, NXT UK is about to start back up within the next couple of weeks and everything, too.
No, they started this past week.
Okay. So, yeah, they got
they're running out of they're running out of the BT Sport TV studio right now.
Okay, dude,
I mean,
for the new title.
I think NXT is in more of a rebuilding. I think AEW has been doing okay, but I would say AEW is getting to a point where they're realizing they got to know where to draw the line, because we watched All Out. Matt Sydal has done the shooting star press a million times. but oh my God, did that look bad. I thought this man broke his neck like Owen Hart. I really did.
Man, Hardy bust his head open, and then
they're trying to say he didn't get a concussion, but dude got up. Oh, and check out those new shirts. We told you they are in knockouts and 3 counts. Get you a shirt, shoot that DM. Anyway, dude was trying to do it and walking around like one of these and shit. Talking about, oh, I don't got a concussion. You know what I mean? When the doctor runs out and grabs you like this and says, no, it's done, dog, you got a concussion.
Man, like, I appreciate the fight in them, but come on, Matt. Like, come on now. Like, I guess y'all trying to get AEW over and everything, but like, come on, bro. Like, you hurt, bro. You hurt, man.
I'm with you.
Like, if I'm not mistaken, shoot, if you're not in your early 40s, you 35 plus, bro. Like, come on now, man.
Well, what do you think about the proposed 6-man? So now tomorrow night we're supposed to get this 6-man. It's supposed to be Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, and Will Hobbs versus the team of Team Taz with Brian Cage, who, wait a minute, there's an interview with that guy right there in that top right link. Check him out. Check out the link. Anyway, we just interviewed Brian Cage thanks to the fine people at Warrior Wrestling, and he will be teaming up with Absolute Ricky Starks. As who is their third is going to be who?
If I'm Lance Hoyt.
It's Lance Archer, right? It's Lance Archer. Yeah. It's Lance Archer and Team Taz versus Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, and Will Hobbs. Okay, first of all, if you think that team with Lance Archer isn't gonna like implode,
yeah, because they kind of had their little thing already, especially during, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember when I came to your house, I was like a little bit after the Battle Royal, but if I'm not mistaken, Lance Archer and Cage had their little clash in the Battle Royal, so I'm sure they're going to implode, but I feel like it's a good filler I feel like it's some good filler leading up to Lance Archer and Jon Moxley. But I know
they even kind of hinted at it already, because like when they brought out Team Taz, you can see it in Lance Archer's face, bro. He's like turning around like, and that's why he said what he did. He goes, it doesn't matter. You know, we might be teammates now, but okay, Brian Cage gets a title shot, he's going to die like the rest. So you know that they're not going to be, it's only a matter of time. Who do you think's going to win that match?
I feel like they're going to have Moxley and company win, and I feel like it's going to give I think they're going to try to give Will Hobbs a little nice rub during the match as well. So, but okay, yeah, regarding AEW, I wanted to say one of my favorite things, side note, one of my favorite things going on in AEW, because like I say, I told you personally, I'm kind of highly critical, even though I love it, I'm highly critical of it. But one of my favorite things at AEW is the Dark Order. I like the Dark Order, what they're doing. At first I didn't like it, but it started out with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. I'm like, what the heck going on? But as they build during the months and weeks and everything, I'm liking it. They introduced Brody Lee and everything. So I want to know what's next, and especially with this Colt Cabana thing, like we talked about at All I Don't Know.
Hey, Colt Cabana, check out the link right there.
Check out the interview. So I don't know if it's gonna lead up to Colt fighting Brody Lee for the title or Colt joining. But that's one of my favorite things going on. And then, like I said, I think MJF is going to be the next champion. And then
MJF is a stud. Like, Corey, you said you like characters.
Another one of my favorites.
Hold on one second. So, Corey, you said you like characters.
Yeah.
Please go look at this guy. The fact that he hasn't gotten the hell beat out of him at a show yet, mind blows me. But that being said, another guy that we have an interview with right there in the link. Like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we've got all the interviews with the homies from AEW, including, like I said, Brian Cage. But I digress. Yeah, dude, it's interesting. AEW's got a lot of things going on. What did you think of the parking lot brawl match, Chris?
Man, it was straight, but I don't understand how it got, like Dave Metzler or,
Oh my God, let's talk about that.
I don't know how he gave that match a 5-star match, especially. So that means that match was better than like Undertaker and
Hold on,
Shawn
I'll
Michaels.
tell you. I got a list of the matches that he said that this was better than. Okay, so Corey, Dave Meltzer is notoriously known as like the #1 dirt sheet writer for wrestling. He has been for years. Like he's universally hated by a lot of guys in the locker room, but a lot of guys will leak shit to that guy, right? So he's got this star system, right? He's got a star rating on how he judges matches. Now, I will preface this by saying I enjoyed that match. I thought it was a good match. It was a blow-off match. So I understood why you did a parking lot brawl. And the fact that they brought Trent's mom out in the minivan made it even better. So, yeah, they literally brought this dude's mom out in part of the shit. So it was interesting. But, I mean, the match was hard-hitting, dude. I mean, there's blood on TV, which you don't see a ton. I mean, AEW's obviously been doing that more lately. I thought it was a good match. But they said, Corey, now listen to the names I'm about to tell you. So this guy said that this match is a better match than Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25, which is widely considered the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. That's number one. What other matches do we got, Chris? Which other ones stood out to you that he said were better?
Man, there's just so many. Shoot, I could just go off the top of my head, like just off the top of my head, like Johnny Gargano and Andrade at Takeover, like Adam Cole and Ricochet. Like, shoot, I say even if I'm not mistaken, I say the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega versus Adam Page is better than that. So. Yeah, parking lot. Just for him to like, just for him. I
thought it was wild too. I wanted to get your thoughts on that before we got off AEW.
Like, so I just don't understand it.
Before we switch over into the MMA things, I know before we got on the air, there was one more thing that really was sticking out to you with the wrestling game. Before we get into that, you mentioned who you think has the greatest tag team division in pro wrestling right now. So for me, I would say tag team wise, you may be right. If we're talking about the greatest women's division, though, it has to be Impact Wrestling.
Shit, man, I kind of forgot about
Impact Wrestling.
You want
to talk about a division that has legitimately good women's wrestlers.
Probably got me on that one.
You've got storylines that are actually made to mean something. They're not just looked at as women's matches. Like Corey, they just did a 30-minute Iron Woman match for the women's title. So that shows you the light that they're giving on their women's division. Okay.
Yeah, Girl, Hogan, Jordan Grace.
I mean, they've literally got a group of killers. I mean, Jordan Grace just faced past guest of the show, Miranda Gordy. I mean, like I said, these guys are tangling it up. And the cool thing with Impact is they have the freedom to be able to wrestle other places too. So they're getting different looks from all over other places. I don't know how much you've seen of Impact lately, Chris, but I would say Impact is really starting to put their name in there with the best wrestling that's out right now.
Okay. So yeah. I kind of, like I said, I forgot all about, like you did say, Impact. I can't even lie. Say I did kind of forget about Impact. So I can't, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't put Impact up there like one or two.
They got to be up there, even if you say they're not number one. Like they, on the women's end, TNA even has always kind of had a good win.
Yeah, man. I said that, and I was saying that when I was younger, like middle school. Like 8th, 9th grade.
All right, Corey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Here's where I can tag you back in. You did used to watch TNA with me because I remember we found it on Fox Sports Detroit when we were at your house. They were the ones that were in the old 6-sided ring on Fox Sports Detroit, bro. I remember watching it at your house, bro. But
man, I remember when I first seen it, I seen it like on Spike TV. That's why I love AJ Styles so much. That's why I marked out when I seen him debut at the Royal Rumble because of TNA. So, man, I was a TNA mark for sure.
Like I said, man, if you guys aren't checking it out, Impact is a great alternative. And shout out to Ring of Honor as well. We had PCO on the show. We've had Shane Taylor on the show. but they're kicking off their ROH Peer Tournament. You remember the Peer Championship, Chris? So the Peer Championship, you know, you've had guys like CM Punk and Homicide and Seth Rollins and a lot of guys who have fought for that belt. Essentially what the Peer title is, Corey, for Ring of Honor, is the Peer title is it's basically all based on technical wrestling. So in a normal wrestling match, you can grab the ropes, right? And it's a rope break. In these matches, you only have 3 rope breaks. If you use all 3 of those rope breaks, even if a guy gets you in a submission and you're under the ropes, it's still fair game because you've used your rope breaks. Another rule in this match, because it's based on just technical wrestling, you're only allowed 1 closed fist shot. So you can only punch the guy 1 time in the match. So you get 1 freebie. If you punch him again, the ref can disqualify you. You still have the 20 count out on the outside, but there's a lot of different rules. I like it. It makes for an interesting match. And as a fan of the technical wrestling style, man, I mean, I'm liking it.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting.
Like I said, Corey, I think that'd be something that's up your alley. And last thing I want to talk about before we get to SmackDown, it's been announced along with past guest of the show, Nolan Edwards, who will be doing his thing on the GCW Collective shows. Past guest of the show, the American Kaiju, Lindsay Snow, will be making her appearance back on Josh Barnett's Bloodsport that is going to be going down on Fight TV. Corey, I've told you about these before. I'm really looking forward to Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Somebody's going to get muffed up.
I'm really looking forward to this UFC pay-per-view. You boys
are I am too.
About this wrestling, but you're forgetting what we got going on this weekend, boys.
I got you. But like I said, before we get out of here, man, shout out to Lindsay Snow. Do your thing in there along with Josh Barnett and Detroit's own Pinkies Up, bitches. Allison K, the AK, is coming for Bloodsport. I will be looking forward to that. Chris, I don't know if you've checked them out at all, but hey, I've been a big fan of it.
If I'm not mistaken, John Moxley was supposed to be on it or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still on it. But all right, Chris, I'll give you the floor. The last thing I want you to talk about as far as the wrestling end, you brought up, we were talking about beforehand, the Sasha Bailey thing, man. Who knows?
Yeah.
Where do you think we go from here? Because Sasha just got beat down again.
Okay. One thing, before I get to the Sasha Bailey thing, one thing I want to say about AEW, another one of my favorites, I just want to say, shout out to my guy, Sammy Guevara. That's one of my, his little stuff. I'm a huge Marcus Sammy, so I like Sammy a lot. But regarding
I like Sammy too.
Regarding Sasha and Bailey, in my opinion, like I said, I feel like they've been carrying WWE since the whole COVID pandemic. Them, like at least those two, they had to be up there with Randy Orton for sure. But Sasha and Bailey, they've been on Raw, SmackDown, they've been on NXT, been carrying it. And I think, what are you about to ask, Kyle?
Well, what I was gonna say is with that in the Roman thing with Paul Heyman, would you say SmackDown, SmackDown's been a good show lately, or are you still having a hard time watching it?
I have a hard time. Even before Roman came back, I still been watching SmackDown. Like I still haven't found a hard time to watch. Like SmackDown wasn't hard to watch.
SmackDown's flowing for you.
Yeah. So yeah, no matter what, because it's always something. It's always something there. Like whether it was the Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman stuff, the Sasha and Bailey, it was always something there for me. Big E, Kofi, Cesaro, Nakamura. It's always been there. I've always been a SmackDown mark. So. Yeah,
SmackDown's been good, man. Between that and the triple threat that we've got going with AJ versus Jeff Hardy versus.
Don't forget this, Kyle. SmackDown probably has the best WWE match the best match in WWE this year, in Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles on SmackDown.
Yep, you win. I got no argument.
Yeah, so SmackDown been hitting for me, bro. It's just Raw. That's just
I still want to see what's gonna happen with the Fiend. All right. We don't got time to dive into it, but the Fiend is definitely something that we're going to have to jump into.
He got so many different storylines he can go through with the Roman, Alexa Bliss, so he don't even need a title, bro. He can do whatever. The Fiend is good for sure, as opposed to his old gimmick as Bray Wyatt. Fiend good. But regarding Sasha and Bailey, they've been carrying WWE. I think this gonna be a long running feud and probably gonna last until WrestleMania, probably even last until probably the Royal Rumble. But I think Sasha's gonna come out as the victor, and then after that, Sasha's gonna carry the women's division as regarding the SmackDown side, and then this one she's gonna finally have a first successful title defense, because ever since she hit the main roster, every time she won a title, she never successfully defended it. But I feel like after she beats Bayley for the title, which I think she will have successful and multiple title defenses.
All right, we're talking title defenses. All right, we're talking title defenses. We got a pretty big fucking title defense this weekend, don't we, Corey? You've got Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa. Now, first of all, what have you thought about all this stuff about, with the buildup? Do you think that Costa's really going to be able to, like, fuck Izzy up the way he's talking? Or do you think he's just talking to sell that fight and you think it'll be another run through for Izzy?
Well, okay. And I really hate to say this because he's truly one of my favorite fighters. And if he didn't charge $20 to ship a shirt from Australia, I would have already bought one. The only person I think he really dominated since he's won the belt is Whitaker. I think his last couple fights, I think Gaslam was a very tough fight for him. I think Yoel surprised the hell out of him. And I think Costa might surprise him even more. It's going to be an interesting fight. I definitely don't think it's just some jaws flapping. I think Paulo definitely wants to get his hands on Izzy, and I think that's definitely his only way to victory is kind of trap him up against the fence. Maybe land a couple of those hard body shots that he put Uriah Hall down with. But
Chris, what do you think about this fight, man? I know you were checking him out.
I think I got style better than winning, but I like, cause like I ain't gonna lie, this is kind of like a little funny little thing. It's a little funny little thing. My family, well, my little dad, my dad, my uncles.
My little dad, not my big dad, but my little dad.
No, but it's just a little joke. My dad, my uncles, they call me Mr. Bitches. So I kind of, even though I got style better than winning,
bitches, huh?
Even though I got style better than winning, I kind of want to root for Costa because he go by the king of the bitches and everything. But speaking of him, I actually just saw some highlights of him and Romero, the Costa Romero fight, and even though Costa won, it was kind of like in my opinion, it was kind of like people were saying that Romero got robbed, and I ain't watched the whole fight, but I was watching highlights of that yesterday actually. So Corey brought up Romero, and I feel like like they said he kind of they kind of got robbed that fight. He fought, like you said, he fought both of them, and actually he had debatable fights with both of them, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel like I said, I got style better winning, even though they both undefeated. I got style better winning, and I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm probably I'm gonna be at work, I'm gonna be at Kyle's place, or I'm probably gonna be at Uncle's place. I'm just looking forward to it, and shoot, man, I'm just looking forward to it. I know one thing I had wrote down. One thing I wrote down regarding UFC. Covington just needs his jaw broken again. I don't care if it's Kamaru do it or Street Jesus do it. I hope one of them do it, man.
All right, so let's talk about that, Corey. What are your honest thoughts on Colby Covington at this point?
See, just like I was saying with the wrestling, I enjoy characters. I enjoy.
But
I don't enjoy him calling people that stand up for their thoughts domestic terrorists and shit like that. I don't agree with a lot of the shit he says, but the fact that he gets people watching whether they like him or hate him, and I think that's it's sports entertainment. You got to also entertain, whether it be positive or negative. Eyeballs are eyeballs, and that's what drives the money flow.
So I totally respect what you're saying. I understand you got to build a fight. I just feel like some of the things that Colby Covington says, like, let's just put it out there. I'm not even black. And what he said about the terrorist thing, about Tyron Woodley, I wanted to punch that guy in the face. But like you said,
but you can't. because neither could Tyron, and in almost a 5-round fight. So, it's like he makes you want to punch him in the face so bad, but then you can't.
That's like the Floyd Mayweather thing. Like they just people, even the haters, they tune in just to see him. Like the haters tune in to see him lose, and the fans tune in to see him win. So like Corey said, like I understand the whole little thing where he's going with it. He's getting people riled up, but like I'll go back to Kyle saying he can go a little bit too far in my opinion. But hey man, we like you entitled to your opinion, what you say. And we are entitled to how we feel. We might, he can feel how he feel. I just don't like how we go about it. But at the end of the day, it's his character and that's his little gimmick. And he either gonna pay for it by getting his jaw broken, a la Kamaru Usman, or he's gonna, go, say what he said he gonna do, a la Tyron Woodley, what he just did this past weekend. So
another thing that we got to talk about, since you're talking about gimmicks. Okay, so since both of you guys will be able to chime in on this. Corey, since you were quiet for a lot of the wrestling stuff, I'll go to you first. There's been a lot of talk about a certain wrestling guy who now is a free agent. Brock Lesnar, now there's been a lot of talk about him going to Bellator. When Tony Khan from AEW was asked, have you talked to Brock Lesnar? He was very quick to say, I can't comment at this time. We also know that Jake Hager, who formerly is known as Jack Swagger in the WWE, is also fighting for Bellator while wrestling for AEW. So, where does Mr. Lesnar end up next, Corey?
I mean, if you're gonna fight again as how old is he? 44, 43,
he's in his 40s. I don't know his actual age, but
well, either way, if he's gonna return to the cage, I guess Bellator is the only place in the United States that you can get a good amount of eyeballs and be on all that juice. So if I was him, I guess that's a good way to get the bag. I don't know what, I'm sure WWE wanted to keep him around, at least in some regard. So I'm sure there's competitive contracts on.
I was going to say, don't think that as soon as there's actually some real talk about him signing a contract with somebody, if you think that Vince McMahon won't back up the fucking money truck. I mean, I don't know if you realize, Corey, but this guy got them for $13 million between the UFC and wrestling, and was on TV. How many times was he on TV in 2019, Chris? How many shows did he do?
Bro, it was so many, like
how many times was he on TV? Just to give Corey an idea, how many appearances this guy had for 13 million?
SummerSlam, probably like SummerSlam, WrestleMania,
the Saudi Arabia stuff.
Like it's probably it's kind of on a handful, probably even less than 10, to be honest.
Look, if you got to 20, you're really doing something. And this guy got him for $12 million. $12 million. And he only fought once last year. Once. One time. And he got popped for steroids.
What?
This guy is killing the game on the money end. But here's the question. If he comes back, do you guys really want to see him fight?
Only person I want to see him fight is John Jones. Other than that, or Daniel Cormier. Other than that, I'm not interested in seeing Brock Lesnar fight at all.
All right, Corey, do you want to see him fight?
I'm of the complete opposite opinion. I don't see any chance that he gets back into the UFC. So those names aren't going to happen in my eyes. But somebody I could see him fighting, and what the kind of rumors have been around Bellator, because they have him signed, as Fedor. I guess that would be.
I heard that fight, right? I heard that fight, and in a way, I guess it makes sense because they're both older. But see, that's the problem with Bellator. And Corey, this is something that we've talked about a lot. Like, Bellator gets good names, but they always get guys towards the tail end of their career. Even if they do good when they first get in Bellator, like look at Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson had a lengthy career, even though it wasn't as early as maybe it should have been in the UFC. Comes over to Bellator, knocks a few guys out because he's way higher caliber, but then it's kind of like now you're kind of like hitting that Peter thing. So I feel like even if you bring Brock Lesnar in, you can't really expect to get more than a few big marquee fights.
They would get a couple cool matches out of him, but I don't see the. Looking back at what Bellator did for their heavyweight tournament, because those were their top stars, and a couple of those guys have even retired since. Who out of them would you want to see him fight? Chael's retired. That would be the only other interesting match.
I mean, honestly, dude, the only fight that comes off the top of my head that makes sense that I'd like to see happen. Okay, obviously John Jones is the obvious one, but if I can't get that, fucking have him fight Ngannou.
Yeah, right. Yet again, he's not getting in the UFC. He's not gonna go through that.
Fine. If we're going Bellator, who the fuck else is there for him to fight other than Fedor?
That's what I'm saying. That's my point exactly. Maybe Ryan Bader, maybe. But one fight I really want to talk about that makes no damn sense, because I know we're running short on time. Michael Chandler making his move to the UFC, finally moving up to the three-letter acronym that everybody considers the best in MMA. Your thoughts on the fact that they not only brought him in, but then immediately have him as a backup for in case anything happens to Khabib and Gaethje?
I think it's long overdue for him to come to the UFC. I've been a big fan of Michael Chandler for a while, and people can say, oh, he hasn't faced the competition because he hasn't been in the UFC. Michael Chandler has fought Eddie Alvarez multiple times, beat him too.
Yep.
He's fought Pitbull. He's fought who else has he fought? He had Pitbull, Ben Henderson, God, I'm drawing blank.
We're running short on time. So
anyways, the guy's fought everybody there is in Bellator. You can't hate on a guy for taking the money when how many guys we've seen leave UFC to go Bellator to make money. So, I mean, if he was making more money.
That kind of jumps back into what I was saying in his last fight when me and you were sitting back watching him versus Benson. What was left for him in Bellator? Even if they wanted,
and that's why I'm saying, like, now's a good time for him to go.
I think it's very interesting that they brought in somebody that hadn't even had a single fight in the promotion, and they're already willing to give him such a position. I don't think, even with everything that he's gotten accolades, and I completely agree he should be top 5 fight immediately, top 5 and a title fight backup are two completely different things. I think even with somebody of his caliber, I think you need at least 2 wins in a division as stacked as 155 is.
I can respect that. I can respect that. But I don't have a problem with them putting him up at the top because he's a top echelon guy. But as you said, man, we're getting towards the end of this. We're going to do our pick video, which you guys need to be paying attention to for UFC 253. But the last thing I want your opinion on, Corey, is do you think Cowboy retiring? You think it's time? Do you think it's not?
I do not think it's time. I think he looked okay towards the end of the fight. More than okay. I think he looked pretty damn good towards the end of the fight, especially for dealing with the eye pokes and stuff that he did. I want to get your opinion on this, but I think we should come back to the picks video because I want your opinion.
Make sure you check out the picks video. You'll get my whole thoughts on that. And until next time,
quick thoughts. I want your quick thoughts, not to interrupt your outro, but I want everybody's quick thoughts on the fact that does anybody even realize that the 205 belt's going on this weekend as well?
Dude,
I feel like nobody is talking about this fight at all.
It's going to be a great fight, but I feel like Dominic Reyes still isn't getting his shine. I feel like he won't get his shine until he wins the title. I think the same thing's going to happen with Jan Blachowicz. I feel like this fight is going to be the thing that's going to give either one of those guys their first real shot at some stardom, because once they have the title, you're not going to have a choice. But I feel like that's why this fight isn't getting a lot of noise. It's going to be a great fight. Make sure you check out the video for our UFC 253 picks. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let us know in the comments. Do you guys like seeing us go back old school and just shoot the shit about the fights and the wrestling? Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you like, and let us know if you like seeing this guy on the show. Chris James, thank you for joining us, brother, man.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, hopefully we'll be seeing more of you. He'll be on with us for our picks for Clash of Champions this weekend. And until next time, and in the in-between time, peace.
Peace.